it's time to sharpen up those edges and grease up your chains. We are going to live it up with mountain life. Dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, mountain lifers, mountain lovers and soggy glovers, goggle tanners and gold panners, feral doggies and boss hoggies, spring breakers and leaf rakers? Actually, speaking of raking leaves, I heard that you should hold off on all that spring cleaning, raking up leaves and twigs and branches and such. Yeah, don't do that until it has been like 10 degrees for a number of days, like a week. Because apparently important pollinators, bugs and bees and stuff are still hibernating in there, and you need to let those things wake up before you rake their homes into a pile and burn them. I don't know, I read that on the internet, so it must be true, but for sure we need those pollinators because all the food that grows needs to be pollinated. So yeah, save the bees. Speaking of the bees and the birds, everyone loves Stan Rey, the people's skier, and he's on the show today talking about ripping, skiing, golf, poaching lineups at the Olympics, and he serves up a real special announcement, like an inside scoop, just for us mountain lifers. So stay tuned for that, but first, let's hear from our longtime partners over at Jack Wolfskin, makers of sustainable outdoor clothing, gear, and footwear. For almost 40 years, the Jack Wolfskin name and paw print have been a symbol of their trailblazing spirit and regard for nature. Inspired by an expedition in northern Canada in 1981, they have led the pack with innovative, eco-conscious technologies, a commitment to social responsibility, and forward-thinking outdoor apparel and equipment designs. If you haven't seen the Jack Wolfskin paw print before, it's because they've only just completed their newest den here in North America. Jack Wolfskin will see you in the wild, wherever that is for you. Okay, so Stan Rey is here, and we're talking skiing, and part of the reason is that March has been a very kind month for snowfall here out west. Big dumps, good pow, bluebird days, and a lot of us still have skiing on our minds, even as the goggle tans creep onto our faces. Stan, of course, is a master of the goggle tan, and he's also one of the most personable professional free skiers in the game. Always ready to joke around for videos, happy to share the stoke or his knowledge with anyone, and always really happy to throw a backflip or two. Stan grew up mostly in Whistler, and he's raced gates, raced ski cross, and raced into the hearts of ski fans around the world with his mad skills and his philosophy of putting fun first. Before he lets Stan lure us in, though, I gotta say, trigger warning for those who care about foul language. I don't, but I know some people do, and there are like 3 naughty words in this episode. None of them start with an F or a C, so it's not really that bad, but let the record show you have been warned. And now, turn down the suck and turn up the good times. Here comes Stan Rey. You'll go to Alaska for like the month of April kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah. And see
yeah, we have a bunch of like POW mainly from Japan and Tahoe, but we don't have anything big mountain pillows, so.
Right.
We need a movie.
Yeah, same as everyone.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Most people.
Awesome. Okay, we're rolling anyhow. The people's skier. We're gonna start off with a really serious question. How many chocolate puddings can you eat?
Oh, many chocolate puddings.
This is a thing that has happened before, or?
Yeah, it did happen.
Tell me about this.
Did you ask people about this?
I asked one person, and that was the first thing they told me about was apparently you
it wasn't just chocolate though. There was chocolate pudding, there was vanilla pudding, and there was butterscotch pudding. They're like the Jello ones.
Yeah, those little cups.
Yeah. And we were at a ski race. This is back in the day.
This is at Panorama?
It's at Panorama. I'm guessing Julia told you. I'm guessing that's the person who told you.
So she told me you ate. She didn't tell me how many.
I don't quite remember, but I think there must have been. I think there was like 14. And this is like after. This is after eating a full dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a dozen is an achievable goal.
Yeah, but I did do it for money. Yeah, it's funny.
How much money?
A lot of these, that one probably wasn't very much. It's just puddings. I think it was like $20 on the line.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I was like 16. $20 was sweet.
$20 is $20. Julia said 5.
Yeah, I amped it up. I think it was 20. Yeah. I used to come home sometimes with more money than my parents gave me to go to a race. They gave me like, I don't know. They gave me like $20 or $30 a day, and I'd come back with like a couple $100 in my pocket. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I spent it all on food.
Was that your thing? Like get people to dare you to do something and then take their money?
Yeah, exactly.
And I
never had anything to lose because the bets was like, if you don't do it, you don't get any money. So I'm like, oh, I'm not losing money.
So it's win-win. What was the craziest thing you did then, and like over that racing career of dares?
I did two. One I'm really not proud of, but there was we drove from Panorama to Lake Louise, and there was like one of those like jumbo slushy cups full of spits, like spit shells.
Right.
And I ate the spit shells for $100.
What?
And it was disgusting.
Dude, how was your traps? Was it painful?
Yeah, they were a little rough. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then another one from Vancouver to Whistler. We were driving a Greyhound, and I went in like the bag compartment from Vancouver to Whistler for also $100.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Was it open or closed?
No, closed. Right. And it was a real bummer for me because we were watching American Pie, and like you're like 15. American Pie is such a sweet movie, and I had to be in the upper compartment.
I guess you could have taken your $100 to the video store.
Exactly, to Blockbuster at the time and rented it.
Yeah. Oh man. So a real daredevil. Somebody said one time you ate nuts, but you're allergic to nuts?
I don't know if I did that as a bet.
Right. But by accident.
But 100% I've eaten nuts and been allergic to nuts.
What happens to you? Do you blow it up?
Yeah, I'm anaphylactic. It's kind of funny. Well, that's not funny at all. But I've kind of grown out of it as I get older. But then like it would have been 4 years ago in Georgia, I hadn't had an anaphylactic reaction in like 10 years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, 45 minutes after lunch, which is really weird. Usually I eat nuts, and like within 3 minutes, I'm like, oh shit, I ate nuts because I could feel it.
Yeah.
This thing, I didn't feel it, and then 45 minutes later, I got itchy hands, itchy eyes, and then 5 minutes later, anaphylactic shock in Georgia. Crazy. In the middle of nowhere.
And you don't carry an EpiPen because it's been 10 years.
Why would you carry an EpiPen? I didn't even carry an EpiPen when I... So dumb. I mean, I'd bring it. It'd be at the hotel.
Yeah.
And often the hotel's like half hour away. So yeah, I almost died in Georgia.
Crazy.
I was super lucky. There was an ambulance in the parking lot, and I got a couple epinephrine shots, and then got driven to the hospital. And then they had me on an IV, and I spent like 2 hours there, and I'm like stressing, and I'm like, Mike, this is gonna cost like a couple grand for sure. It's gonna be like a disaster.
Right.
And it was like $40 American. Yeah.
Also, you were just there doing like skiing or shooting for Solomon TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Crazy. Georgia, I heard it's kind of having a moment right now.
It's awesome.
It seems like good skiing.
They had one of the best snow seasons in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Them in Japan. Everywhere else in the world seemed kind of dismal or subpar, and they had really good conditions there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Another story came in, I don't know from who, but you're hitting jumps in the Black Park with Ben Thompson while carrying your extra skis on your shoulder?
Yeah, not the big ones.
Right, okay.
But yeah, the small ones.
Still pretty good.
I've got some good stories actually with Ben Thompson too.
What was like you grew up, in Whistler since you were 7. Originally you came from Switzerland?
That's right.
What do you remember about making that transition from how was your English when you arrived in Whistler at grade 1?
Non-existent. But it's funny because we moved here, so I actually finished grade 1 in Switzerland. Was I in grade 2 when I came here? Yeah, I think I was grade 2. And we moved like right in the spring.
Yeah.
And I knew zero English. Like I've never spoken a word of English in my life. And I literally went to the neighbors, and they were playing basketball, and I asked them to play basketball in French. And over the summer, I learned French just by going to hang out with friends. And It's crazy as a kid.
Wait, you spoke French in Switzerland?
Yeah, just French.
And then none of the kids here had spoken any French because it's BC.
Yeah, and no.
Right, they weren't in school.
I didn't even speak broken English. I just spoke French.
Yeah.
And literally learned English just hanging out with my neighbors. And they were super nice. It was Stephen Romanin, Jenna Romanin. So Stephen was a year older than me, and Jenna was a year younger than me. And it's crazy as a kid how quick you can pick up languages. Where like my parents still struggle to speak English now.
Yeah.
And, we've almost been in town for 30 years.
Totally, and you nailed it. Well, you got a good basis in a summer.
Yeah, in a summer, and then you like couple years at school, and then you're fluent with no accent. where even with like my older sister, especially like when you drink a little bit, the accent comes out a little more.
Right.
You can notice it on her. I have 2 sisters.
One's younger,
older.
one's
no,
both
both
older.
Yeah. 2 Minnie's 2 years older than me, or 3. Minnie's 3, and then Ray-Ban's 5.
And they also spoke no English, I guess.
0 English.
Right, which would have been a bit trickier because they were, she would have been
a little older.
11 years old. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a key time in a young
Yeah.
woman's life.
Yeah, but we all picked it up pretty quick. My parents struggled with it for a while.
Sick. Why did you guys come here? For skiing?
My dad, no, well, we were from a ski town.
Yeah.
But my parents had friends that moved to Pemberton from Switzerland.
Right.
And they came to visit, and they loved how friendly everyone was and how beautiful the place was. And I think they wanted to get out of the town we were in. They ran a bakery, and it was high stress. They didn't get to spend much time with the kids because my mom ran the cafeteria, so she'd be at work from like 8 till 4 every day. And then my dad baker hours, so you're going to like bake at like 10 o'clock at night, and you come back at 5 in the morning, and then you sleep till like 12, 1 o'clock. So they didn't get to spend much time with us, and I think they just wanted a change in life and just packed up and moved, which is pretty bold being like, I think they're like kind of my age now, mid-30s.
Right. Mid-30s, 3 kids.
3 kids.
Across the world.
See you later.
And like you're in that village that you lived in, your grandparents were there too? Like
Yeah.
they left everyone?
Yeah. Well, my dad's parents lived there, and then
Right.
all my cousins and aunt and uncles on my dad's side. And then
Right, your mom was from France.
Yeah, my mom's from France. You did all your research.
I did it this morning. I did it this morning. But you obviously, you're from a skiing family. You were skiing before you came to Whistler.
Yeah, and I was biking too, which is awesome. I went from like a ski town and not really a bike town at the time I came here, and it was like the mecca of
That was
biking in
1996. So
96.
the bike park was open.
Bike park was not
Just opening?
open.
Close?
I think the bike park opened. I could be wrong, but I think it opened in 2000.
Yeah, you'd know better than me.
2000 or 2001.
But there was definitely biking happening.
There's biking. There's the first like cross country biking, like river runs through it. That was like
Cut your bars.
Yeah, especially because I lived down in right by Myrtle Phillip, so that was like right after school. Cut your bars, and then we'd go cut your bars into river runs through it. We loved river runs through it, like the log rides and everything. Teeter totters. We spent hours in there, and then the dirt jumps. They like made dirt jumps up by the skate parks, and then we started doing that. And then when the bike park opened, it was game on.
And you were skiing when you got here. Did you start racing right away, or?
I started racing. I mean, I already raced a little bit, like just fun races, and when I was 7 in Switzerland, and then I moved here, and I think I really started racing when I was 10.
Right.
And I fell in love with it. And I mean, since I was a little kid, my grandpa went to 2 Olympics.
Yeah.
And he was my idol. I wanted to go to the Olympics like my grandpa. That was my dream. Never succeeded in that Olympic dream. I did 4 on the Olympics.
I heard you helped build the course.
I did. It was a lot of fun. And I lived it vicariously through my lovely wife.
Yeah, you got to go in the
Olympics.
Olympic
And a lot of friends, too. Like a bunch of friends from Whistler got to go to the Olympics. And I've won the Olympics, which is super
We
cool.
might as well talk about that because that's 2010, the Vancouver Whistler Olympics. How old were you then? Early 20s?
20. Yeah, I was 20. I was 21.
And had you started ski cross by then, or were you still racing gates?
I just retired racing gates, and it was my first year racing, and all the NORAMs were after the Olympics.
Right.
But I went in the summer and raced a few races in Australia and New Zealand and did fairly well. Got enough points to actually start World Cups. And can I swear on the podcast?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. I was the wax bitch for the national team. So I was actually traveling with the national team to all the races. And they had a spare spot for an extra racer. So I was tuning skis, all the training skis. There's, I think, 14 pairs of training skis. And I was going to bed like at 12-1 most of the time.
You just knew how to tune skis because of your gate
racing.
career?
Yeah. And then the techs kind of ran me through it. I mean, it's pretty easy when you're just doing training skis. You don't really need the perfect wax or anything. And then I tried and race the next day. And that was so hard going to bed like at 1 or 2 and then trying to race the next day. I mean, people do it all the time, though. They party and then they go win races. But I'm not that kind of person. I need to be all there.
Somehow they roped you in to help build the course or consult, or were you shoveling snow?
No, I was more of a tester, and then
Right.
it was Sammy Kent, Brian Bennett, and Clay Dolan and I. And so we were the forerunners, but mainly Sammy and I were the testers. And it was pretty cool because we were there 2 weeks before the Olympics, and it was a pretty bad snow year.
Yeah.
And they were flying, so they were trucking snow in from Oregon, if I remember right. And then they were flying it with a helicopter onto the slope. And we didn't have enough snow to build the course out of snow, so it was built out of hay bales. And then we had a mouse problem. It was pretty hectic. And like that.
And that was the first ever Olympic ski cross course.
Yeah. That was the first time they had the Olympics and the ski cross in the Olympics. And it was an awesome course. Start sequence was quite difficult, which I think is cool because it creates separation. But for snowboarders, it was really hard. So snowboarders had a hard time getting over the two features. Right. But yeah, it was awesome. I thought it was a good display of ski cross for its first games.
Canadians did okay.
Yeah, Ashley won, which was awesome. Kels came fifth.
You guys were dating, Kelsey? Kelsey Sirwa for the listeners.
Yeah. We'd been dating for like a year. Right. We started dating in 2009.
So you were there to cheer her on.
I was there to cheer on. I had front row seats for it too.
And
it
go
awesome.
Through the Olympic Village. Yeah. Did you get to do the Olympic Village party scene?
I did not. I wasn't allowed inside that bubble, but it was super fun getting to be kind of part of it. And I got a volunteer jacket. Yeah. Which is kind of sweet.
How many years did you ski cross for?
Short little stint. So I did that first year where I was kind of I raced 4 World Cups, and then I raced the remainder of the NORAM season. So that was my first year. And then I did 2 years on World Cup. And I decided I'm 24. Should probably try and be a free skier before it's too late.
Right.
Yeah. And I was just over racing. I was in the back of my mind, I'd gotten kind of injured, not bad injuries, but 2 years in a row, I had only done half a season, and then I hurt my knee, hurt my knee, and then I did another half a season, and I hurt my pelvis in Blue Mountain. I just came from X Games, actually, it's the opposite. I hurt my pelvis the first year and then my knee the second year.
Right.
But I just came from X Games, which is the biggest course we race all year, pretty gnarly, big jumps. And then we go to Blue Mountain, which is a hill in Ontario for people who don't know, which is
that's
very small.
The birthplace of mountain life, though, Blue Mountain.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And I had probably my biggest ski injury, other than blowing my knee. I think it was one of my bigger ski injuries. I ended up tearing my lower abdominal and and some of my groin. Anyways.
So that was it. Hurt.
I was hurt, and I wasn't having that much fun, and I don't know, at the time I didn't have that many good friends on the team. It's funny because when I retired, I became better friends with a few of the guys that were on the team. But anyways, and I just kind of felt like I was kind of a loner on this team. And I wasn't having that much fun. Yeah. So I was kind of debating. Fun. Yeah, I live for fun.
Is that something you always did, or did you grow into that sort of ethos of if you're having fun, you're doing it right? Yeah,
exactly. I think two main reasons that really draw me to sports, but it's having fun, and then I love competition. I'm super competitive.
Right.
And it's funny because the people I'm most competitive against are my best friends.
Right.
They're the ones I want to beat the most.
And now in the freeski world, obviously there are comps, and you did one this year. We'll talk about it. But as far as the filming and shredding, how do you find the competition in that?
Well, it's kind of funny because it's competition with less pressure, and I never dealt amazingly with pressure, but I feel in the free skiing sense, outside of competition, because the free ride world tour is a little different, but I feel you almost feed off other people. You watch your buddies hit something and land a sick line, and you're oh, I want to go try and one up them. But it's I think there's a camaraderie that you don't quite get in when you're racing.
Right.
When I was racing, I was
whole country.
I was when I was racing, I didn't really care how other people did. I just wanted to win and beat them.
Right.
Where now it's I want to watch my buddy land a sick line and then go and try and do better or do my version of a sick line.
Jumping back a little bit, I did want to ask, because you forerun some downhills.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like downhill racers don't get the cachet that they deserve in the ski world. I feel like they're the most badass of anyone.
That was They for 100%. It was funny because I never really liked GS and slalom, and being a smaller guy, that's probably where I would do better than being a downhill skier. But I love going fast and flying through the air and scaring myself. And I love downhill. And it was because I loved it so much. It was my best event, even though I was like 160 pounds soaking wet when you're racing guys that are like 220 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys, I mean, most of the races that we did on the NORAM circuit and FIS are like pretty tame downhills. Like Lake Louise isn't that crazy of a downhill, but the Whistler downhill we did at Nationals, and I got to forerun a World Cup on the men's side, and I got to forerun the women's downhill. That is a real sick downhill. It's actually too bad they don't do it. I get why the weather never cooperates in Whistler, but the hill is awesome. And it's like
they could have done it this March.
Super fast, technical, steep, and a couple good airs. It's a wicked downhill.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They're crazy, and like the Strife, I've skied it, but I haven't skied it on downhill skis. But that's an insane run. Like they go to 0 to 100 in like 100 feet.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When did you grow? Like you're 6'2" now. You know, you're a good downhill size now, and you're
huge.
You're in a sport. You know, free skiing. A lot of the smaller dudes do well. Not all, but a lot of them are small. You know, Kai and Sean and those guys are much smaller than you. When did you kind of, as soon as you stopped racing, you grew into racing shape or what?
It's called drinking beer.
But you got tall.
Nah. Oh yeah, super tall. Yeah, it's crazy. I quit racing and I started growing a ton more. I actually think I got smaller. A lot of flat landings. I tell people I'm 5'9", but I'm probably more like 5'7".
I feel like Whistler ski crossers have done well, right? The women especially.
Yeah.
Is there something, do you think, about the terrain in Whistler that helps build a good ski crosser? Is it that single track exit out of the Kaib, or is there something here that makes good ski crossers? Just the mountains that they grow up on?
It's Singing Pass. But that's why they're only good at turning right. No, or left, actually. You're on your right foot. I think people that grow up in Whistler aren't just ski racers. They're not one-dimensional skiers. They ski the whole entire hill. And that's what a lot of people, I'm not going to diss on anybody, but I feel like when you're out east, you don't really get the opportunity to like go free skiing. You know, a POW day is like, I don't know how many POW days you see out there, but probably not many, where we have such good terrain. And the ski club I grew up in, and I was very fortunate to be at a Whistler Mountain Ski Club. And like when it snows 20 centimeters, the coaches are like, oh, we're going to slip the run and ski 10 runs of GS. They're like, let's go free skiing.
Yeah.
And that makes you a better skier because it teaches you about terrain, different conditions, how you have to adapt to different conditions, gets you balanced and gets you looking ahead. And I think that's a key thing in ski cross. Yeah, you have to be a good technical skier, but then you also have to move really well over terrain and absorb it, and also chasing your buddies. That's kind of like, that was the hardest thing for me when I switched from alpine to ski cross, was getting used to have people so close to you.
Right.
And I'm like, it's funny, I'm super competitive, but I'm also like, I'm too nice to like throw somebody in the net. Oh, I'm not going to make this turn, you're going to go in the net.
Yeah.
So I would back out of that. And those split-second decisions you need to make to be ahead, you can't be afraid to put someone in the net. And
Death race style.
Yeah, exactly. That's not me.
Too nice of a guy.
Too nice of a guy.
Obviously, you know, your wife is a highly decorated ski crosser, comes from Big White.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Big White out.
They're royalty out there, I think, her family. But I read about her being in the Pyeongchang Olympics and you having to poach the line to be able to watch her race. Was there some kind of trick where you guys maybe pulled something to get bypass the line and sneak in so that you could, you know, partake in her glory?
It's a good story. I might as well share the whole thing. So 2 days before the women's event, the men raced, and my former teammate Brady Lehman won, and he was sponsored by Lululemon at the time, and they took us out to Seoul. So it's like having, for people that don't really know the place, but it's It's like having the Olympic race in Whistler, and then we went to Vancouver for the after party. So we took the train down to party, and Lulu like put on a little thing for him. It was awesome. Then we went to like a little cocktail bar, had a few drinks, and it was actually like a pretty mellow night. And then we get back to the hotel, and it's the typical like 11:30, and they're like, "Oh, should we go for like a snack? We're kind of hungry." Like, yeah, okay. Snack and a beer, and we go literally across the street. There's like a little bar that's like maybe can fit 20 people, 25 people, and there was 8 of us. And we get in this bar, and we order gyozas and a beer. And like the girls were winding down. There's 3 girls working, and they were eating dinner when we walked in. They're like, "Oh, sorry," and they're like, "No, come in." So, anyways, we ordered beer and gyoza, and then Brady pulls out the gold medal and shows them the gold medal, and they get so excited. They like turn off all the lights, turn on the disco light, and the next thing you know, we've got 8 Jaeger bombs lined up, and then next thing you know, one of Brady's friends that came from Calgary to watch, he's a doctor, and he orders a bottle of scotch and then another bottle of scotch, and then these 2 Korean guys walk in, like business guys, and at this time 4 of us in there have our shirts off partying. Within like a minute of this Korean guy walking in, he's got his shirt off with us partying. He's like, "What are you drinking?" And I'm like, "Oh, scotch." So he buys a bottle of scotch. Anyways, we end up going to bed at 5 in the morning, and we gotta get up and take the bus back up to Pyeongchang at 7. And I was like, that was a disaster. I remember I was like stumbling drunk. I go to pee, and I'm like leaning on the wall. This is in the hotel that we're getting put up at. And there's a little shelf right above the toilet, and there's 2 water glasses. And I'm leaning on the wall, and I knock one of them over, and they're breaks, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And I switch hands. I don't know why I would switch hands. The other one, knock over the other one, it breaks too. And I go to wipe it up, and I like with my hands, and I slice my finger, and I'm like, "I'll deal with it in the morning." Sure enough, the morning comes around. Don't wake up to my alarm. They call my hotel room. Don't wake up to that. The Lululemon team manager's like banging on the door. He's like, "Stan, we gotta go. We're gonna be late for Kelsey's race." Anyway, so we hop on the bus. Now we get to the lineup. We get up there, and there's a lineup to get through security. And I'm like, "Oh man!" I ask him like, "Hey, my wife's racing. Can we go by?" And the guy says no. And he's like, so he gets there was 4 of us there. He gets Brady's girlfriend at the time, which is now his wife, to stuff my puffy jacket up her jacket and make it look like she was pregnant. And then he walks up, the team manager walks up with her, and he's like, "Oh, my wife's pregnant. Can we go through VIP?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, no problem." He's like, "Oh yeah, we're with 2 friends." And I'm like hiding on my hood up, because I literally went and asked him like 3. Yeah. And they let us through VIP, so I walk right through, and we ended up missing the very first run,
right?
Which Kels was last because she qualified second, and Mare qualified first. So I missed Mare's first run. But other than that, I didn't miss anything.
Right. And then
I'm hanging out with Kelsey's parent. Like the first person I see is Kevin, who actually he came 4th in the men's event. And the first thing he says is like, "You been partying last night?" I'm like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "'Cause you reek like booze." So I'm like, "Gosh." Shit. And I had a big beard at the time too. And then I end up hanging out with Kelsey's grandparents and her parents like the whole entire time.
Reeking like scotch.
And then Kels wins, and I'm like, I jump over the fence, and I go give her a big hug and a kiss. And the first thing she says to me, she's like, "Did you drink scotch last night?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was crying. I was like, it was so cool to me. It was like pretty much my dream that she achieved.
Because you didn't even go to the Olympics, and she just won the gold.
Yeah, and her best friend came second. It's like, that's the coolest thing ever. And Britt wasn't even supposed to be there. Like, she didn't qualify, but Georgia Simmerling, the race before Nikiska, blew her knee, and she was the first alternate. So she got to be the alternate. She had never been on a World Cup podium at the time, and she ends up coming second next to Kels, and it's so cool. And she actually, I'm going to give her a shout out. She actually just won her 2nd World Cup last night.
Oh, sick.
And which is awesome. Brett Phelan.
Well, a couple things from that. The power of a gold medal seems to be universal, right? You pull out an Olympic gold medal, awesome. and you've made them a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever like reap those rewards now? Does Kels travel with the medals if you need to?
Kels is like the most humble person ever. Like, she'll never tell you. Like, I'm usually like, "Oh, this is my wife. She's an Olympic gold and silver medalist." I'm like so proud, like proud husband. And she would like never tell anyone. When she goes to like an event, she'll bring it, but she usually doesn't travel with it.
Yeah.
Funny, she keeps it in a sock.
That's good. The last place anyone will look.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about that was the value of a good poach. In ski culture, you kind of have to learn to poach a
for
little
sure.
bit, right? Like
100%.
whether it's a parking spot under a hotel or whatever, you're making do. Do you on Blackcomb Mountain? I know your favorite mountain. There's a the Spanky's Ladder. For those listeners who don't know, it's basically a really awesome alpine bowl. But to get up there, you have to hike a little bit, and a lot of people want to go and they line up in a line. And then there's kind of the dirty line, the poach, where you just ski past everyone and trailblaze your own way up beside them. What are your thoughts on the dirty line? Do you partake?
I partake for sure. I mean,
because people get angry. People will push you over.
People will push you over and throw snowballs at you. But if you cut the line and then you go into the boot pack,
yeah,
you deserve to be yelled at. But if I'm cutting the line and you set your own boot pack beside it,
yeah,
it sucks to suck, really.
Yeah,
like we're not waiting on a lift line here. We're waiting on a line for the train to open.
Hill. Yeah.
I usually like hanging out with Ian Morrison. He'll lead the way because
he's the king of that.
He gives zero shits,
yeah.
and he'll feed it back to people that are yelling at him. Where I'll just like have my hood up or whatever, head down, and I won't say anything, and I'll just boot pack by people. People will definitely not like you for it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no. And also, you guys, you've put in your time on that mountain. Like, I don't know, it's not like in Hawaii, you flew here, we grew here.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Surfing's a whole different culture too, but I feel like that's the closest thing you'll get to like aggro on the hill.
Yeah.
But at the same, it's
usually people that can't put in their own boot track. They're unhappy about it.
Yeah. It's true. For sure. But sometimes people wait there for like 45 minutes, an hour.
No, totally.
And then you just like spinning laps on front side laps, and then you see it cracks, or maybe you wait for like 10 minutes, and then you wait at the back of the line, and as soon as it cracks, you just ski to the front, take your skis off.
Yeah. And
you hustle up, and usually you can get in there like maybe 10th.
Which is that's a nice run to be 10th into Spanky's.
Fantastic, especially if you know where you're going. I'm not going to tell you where that is, though.
We've already said too much. So, the transition to free skiing, you retire. I know, you already had lots of free skiing buddies. You grew up watching the movies. What was that like to start the free skiing career? How did it go?
It was tough because at first, ski racing, it's so structured. Everything's set out for you. Like, you're going here, you're going to race this, that, and you're traveling with the team. And now it's like, I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew I wanted to be a free skier, but I'm like, how do I get there? And I'd been free skiing all my life. I'd be doing stupid shit all the time, like backflipping. And I think my first backflip was in my parents' backyard on snowblades.
Yeah. How old were you when you threw your first backy?
I think I was 9 or 10. And I jumped to flat in my parents' backyard on snowblades. And then ski racing, we'd always like wait at the bottom of the run, and then we had a little jump run we'd do with like 4 or 5 of our friends, and we'd do backflips and 360s down the jump run. It was fun. Anyways, the transition was tough, and right away I was like, I gotta try and leech on the Whistler Blackcomb thing, because they're a huge resort and they're looking for media. So Ryan Regier, like every time it snowed a little bit, I'd go shoot these little videos, and then I got to meet some of the photographers like Eric or Berger, Paul Morrison, and I bugged them all the time to go shoot photos. And I was pretty much a yes man. Anytime someone asked me to do something, I was doing it just to try and get my name out there. And that took like a year. I did that for like a year and a bit, and then I actually ended up getting a pretty lucky break. I have a guy I went to high school with, Jay Trussler, who I rode up the chairlift with, and he's like, "Oh, we're shooting an on-hill segment for Sherpas for Into the Mine. You want to come join us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And I was so stoked.
Just a random chairlift ride.
Yeah, just a random chairlift ride with the guy I went to school with, who's filming for Sherpas, who's working for him. And they were doing a shot where a bunch of people were jumping over Mr. Belvedere, and then in the background it was kind of like Dominator area. And I remember like Matty Richard didn't want to hit Dominator. The conditions weren't the best. I was 25. I was hungry. I didn't really care. So I'm like, yeah, I'll hit Dominator. I've hit it a few times before. And I ended up doing a backy on it and landed it. And then we ended up shooting the scene like 3 times. And I did that. And then I got to spend the next like week shooting for that on-hill segment, which was awesome. and that kind of like really put my foot in the door. And that 2 weeks later, I got called by Solomon Freeski, and I had a friend who was working for Solomon as a sub rep, and the rep's like, hey, you should like get this guy some like skis and outerwear.
Yeah.
So I was just literally getting like flow, and that was for the first like 2 years. And then I got to go on the Solomon Freeski trip to Japan, and it was like that was my dream come true pretty much. And I got to go there with Chris Rubens, who I like watched in the ski movies growing up. And it's funny because these guys they're not that much older than me, like 4 years older, but I idolize these guys. So, and then I came back from that trip, and they're like, hey, do you have a snowmobile? Like, we're filming in the backcountry here. We'd love to have you come. And this is all Solomon stuff. And my second trip, I'm going skiing with Mark Abma, Cody Townsend, and Chris Rubens and Whistler in the backcountry. And I'm like, I suck at sledding. I'm getting stuck everywhere.
You had one, though? Or?
Yeah, I had one. Yeah.
Right.
I actually bought one the year before I retired from ski cross, which is kind of funny. That was kind of the start of the end. Yeah, and I was like on cloud nine. I was like skiing with my idols, and then when you realize your idols are actually like awesome people and super friendly and encouraging, it's kind of really cool. Like the ski industry, there's not a whole lot of egos out there, which is I think is awesome.
Yeah, I feel like, in the big mountains, everyone kind of realizes like we're not in charge here, so it sort of keeps people humble or teaches them to be humble quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you were younger, like the generation prior of ski stars, when you were a little kid watching, the movies, who were your guys or who were your stars back then?
I had like three people I really gravitated towards, and it was Shane McConkey, just because of his personality. Like watching him, you weren't like, wow, he's an amazing skier and he's having fun. You felt like he was your best friend, and I never even met the guy, but he looked like you could sense that he like loved what he was doing and he was having so much fun.
I feel like he was like a comedian who was really good at skiing.
Oh, it's exactly that, and I don't know, he made it look so fun. J.O.P. O'Clair was another guy, super kind, super creative, and then Seth Morrison, was just because he was a badass skier, hucking huge cliffs.
Yeah,
those were the three guys that I was like really made an impression on me. And that was the first ski movie I watched, was High Society. I think I was like 13 years old. I'm like, man, that would be a pretty cool job if you got to go skiing with your buddies out of a helicopter and ski pow and stuff and lines.
How key was it to be with Solomon? Because, Mike Douglas had Solomon TV and Freeski TV or whatever, and they were like really making a lot of stuff. Whereas if you just, happened to have a buddy who worked for a different ski company, no other ski company was doing anything like that at the time. It was just movies. Yeah,
I think I got, again, like right place, right time. And at the time, Blair Richmond worked for Mike Douglas too. And I went to school with him. He's a year older than me. And he actually was the one who was like kind of nudging Mike. He's like, hey, we should maybe give this kid a chance. Because I didn't really know Mike.
Right. Did you know that he was a co-creator of the Strawberry Sake Margarita at Sushi Village?
I did.
Everyone knows that.
I did. Well, I didn't for a long time, though. Right. I think I only figured that out like a year ago. I also, which was crazy, I didn't know Air Jordan was named after Jordan Williams for like the longest time.
Because was he one of your coaches?
He was one of my coaches. Yeah. He coached me like 15, 16. I think I was like 19 when I figured out it was him that pioneered it. I was like, that's awesome. But no, I think I got super lucky that I was with Solomon because, they had tons of opportunities. They at the time they were still making like 10 Solomon Freeski TV episodes a year, and before that it was even more. Like one year, I think Mike said they made 16 of them.
Crazy,
which is crazy.
Because you make movies, you know how much.
It
what
takes
a combination
ton of
of time and luck and budget.
For sure. And it's I feel like it was, I don't know why, but I think it was easier back then because the conditions were better, and also the quality of things didn't have to be like 4K, and it didn't have to be like perfect
Sherpa's quality every time.
Exactly.
Right?
And now the standard's a lot higher.
Well, yes and no. I mean, your YouTube channel, you're pretty active on that with just regular, everyday dude with a camera stuff.
Yeah. GoPro and an iPhone. It's true. That's true.
And people still connect to it.
Yeah. I think I actually really started like 3 years ago, and I was kind of like half-assing it. And this year I'm like, you know what? I might as well like actually do it like once a week for sure. So I started a little series, and then I'm like, if I have more time, which I've had a ton this year because the conditions haven't been all that good, which at the same time is kind of a bummer because I'm skiing all these like awesome lines in bad conditions.
Totally.
But it's a lot of fun, and you get with YouTube, you can make more of a connection with the audience than social media like Instagram and stuff, because it's like such short clips that people don't really get a sense of who you are as a person, or
or what story you want to tell that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and I mean, obviously you've got an outgoing personality. The people you connected to were big personalities in the industry before, so it works. You know, you're in the right era.
Yeah.
You know, in the 80s, you would have had no outlet.
Yeah, it's true.
What about now? Are there skiers out there now that are like, you're, oh, wow, I never would have expected that, or this person's really impressing me, or...
I mean, I like to praise on the Whistler kids, but like Marcus Gogan and Wei Chen are, they're such high level, and I got to actually and I used to ski with them a little bit here and there. I try to ski like once or twice a year with the freeride kids, and a lot of the times I'd go out and I'm like, these kids, 5 or 6 of these kids are better than me. Like, the level of skiing is crazy. And then watching them in the Freeride World Tour this year, it's like mind-boggling, and they're such nice, humble kids. It's actually really cool to watch. And then they're also like both amazing bikers. So yeah, definitely those two, Marcus and Wei Chen. And like there's Lucas Bennett's another kid that's up and coming from Whistler. And then I mean, there's so many people. Like the level of skiing is so high. I mean, watching the World Tour, a guy like Max Hitzig is like Mr. Consistent. And it's not like he's consistently doing like pretty good runs. He's like pushing the boundaries of what you can do on skis and being consistent.
This year you competed in kicking horse?
Yeah.
Tell me, that was your first time ever competing on the tour, or?
First time ever competing on the tour. The only other like free ride comp I've done is Red Bull Cold Rush.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you won, didn't you?
No.
Oh, no, you won.
No, I won
Lines.
Enemy Lines, but that was more of a race. That wasn't a free ride comp.
Talk about that, because I don't think that many people know about that Monster Enemy Lines, and it was pretty crazy.
They only ran it 2 years, and then there was talk that they were going to make like a tour, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all for it. It's awesome. It's like
the concept was, they have this giant ridge over the resort with a bunch of lines, and what would happen? People would pick which out of a hat they wanted.
Out of a hat, and then you got to pick whatever number you were at a hat. You got to pick the line you were at, and there was 12 of them. And then it was a mass start, literally shotgun start.
Treadway
firing a shotgun, and then first one to the bottom wins.
Which is such a pretty sick race.
Oh, it's so cool. They used to call it Chinese downhill. I don't think it's appropriate to do that anymore. But it was awesome, and I was very fortunate to win both of them. The first year, Abbey Danger was really bad. It was raining, so we actually didn't start from the top.
Right.
And we started from the top of the chairlift, but it was actually on the resort. It was quite a bit gnarlier. Nothing was groomed. It was moguls. Right. It was nuts. And I mean, we were also in like downhill suits and downhill skis or super G skis, and some people didn't show up in downhill suits. And then they're like, you guys are in downhill suits, because it's kind of a free ride event. We're like, yeah, 20 grand's on the line. Why wouldn't you be in downhill suits?
It's a race.
It's a race, exactly. And then the second year, they're like, okay, no downhill suits. And the second year, you couldn't use race skis because the head wall is so steep. I mean, some people did. Bushy did, which I was surprised Bushy did.
Bushy thought he was going to win.
Bushy showed up. He had downhill skis, or super G skis, I think. I can't remember. And he's like, I haven't, I don't really wax. Can you help me out with the wax the night before? I'm like, yeah, I can help you with the wax for sure. Like, here, use this wax. And we got dropped off on the heli in the morning, and I'm like, I pull his skis out, and his skis still have wax on them. I'm like, Bushy, you didn't scrape your skis? He's like, no, you're supposed to scrape them. I'm like, yeah, I think he's trying to scrape them with his credit card at the top. And I had a pair of L Dictators, and they're like 201 length, and then like a pretty decent size POW ski with race bases on them. They're like a lab ski that Solomon made. I'm like, these are perfect. And a few guys dropped in with downhill skis, like Bushy. I think Brady Lehman, who's the guy who won the Olympics that I partied with. He was also on Super G skis, and I'm like, by the time you guys get to the bottom of the slope, the first, because it's like 45, it's super steep, maybe like closer to 50 degrees. Like, by the time you get to the bottom of this, we're going to be long gone on our house skis. And I remember being up there, I was lucky I got to like pick fourth, I think. I think if you're outside the top 7 picking your line, there's zero chance you're winning. Because if you're further right on the ridge, you had like a mandatory 30-footer you had to hit.
Right.
And you can't really straight line into a 30-footer from the top without exploding. So I got lucky, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do like 3 turns and then out the bottom. And I'm like literally initiating my second turn, and I see Logan Peyote like coming out the bottom. And I'm like, oh my, all right. I'm pointing it from here. And luckily I literally like caught up to him within like 100 feet to go, past him. And then I realized, I'm like, oh man, should I have passed him? Because now he's going to get my draft for the last like 60, 70 feet. Maybe he's going to get by me again. And literally, if the race went another 15 feet, he would have got by me.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah. So I got pretty lucky.
So I guess, people on the listening, you can Google it. There's a video, monster enemy lines in Fernie. It's a good video. They put together a nice piece on it.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't know where that even came from, but that was, because that was one of the few times that you competed, and then this year you were the wild card for the old man wild card,
and I asked for it too. Yeah, people didn't know that. Some people were like, how'd you get it?
Why did you want to do it?
It was kind of on my bucket list, but like right when I finished racing, the last thing I wanted to do was compete. And a lot of people were telling me like, oh, you should compete on the Free Ride World Tour, it'll be awesome. And this is like kind of right when I started free skiing.
Yeah,
and I'm like, nah, I don't really want to compete anymore. And especially in the last few years, I've actually started watching it and having Whistler athletes in there like Cooper Bathgate and those guys, Pfeiffer and stuff. It's been like pretty fun to watch. And I'm like, it'd be pretty cool to be able to compete in one of those without having to try and do like a qualifier and stuff. So I'm like, I might as well ask what's the worst that can happen and say no.
Yeah,
so
they were probably psyched, right?
Yeah. No, I was super stoked too. They weren't sure at first. But when I got the okay, it was like in December, so I was stoked. I mean, had I known it was going to be like dust on crust, don't know if I would have loved to compete on that again. And I'd watched the event last year, and I was like super set on ozone, and I already knew exactly what I was going to do.
Right.
And then there's a bit of a curveball when we got switched to the other zone, which I think was probably for the better. And it was like dust on crust, 10 centimeters on like ice.
Yeah.
And then it didn't end super good, but I was first to drop too. So this is drawn out of a hat too.
Right.
There's 22 guys, and I picked number 1, which is kind of funny. Like my only event, I get to drop first, and then I made a joke right away. I'm like, at least I'll get to sit in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting in the start gate. I had like 10 minutes. There was a bit of a course hold. And at first I wanted to, I didn't quite ski the line I wanted to up top. I wanted to backy the first wind lip. And then when I, like right before I got off, like towards the takeoff, I was like, it probably won't work. So I just did a straight air and ended up tapping the tree because it was there. I didn't even really go for the tree tap.
Yeah.
But when I was in the start gate, I was like, I was going to ski something safe out the bottom. And I'm like, I didn't come here to come like 10th or 11th. I'd love to try and do well. So I decided to go for that air at the bottom, on the bottom left there. And I thought it would be like, I was ready to land on ice, like firm, that 10 centimeters. So I was super far forward. It ended up being like a bit of a breakable crust at like facets. And I was way too far forward for that. And I just tomahawked out the bottom. More of a crowd pleaser.
It set the internet ablaze for sure. I'm interested in like, you don't get to test the course.
No.
So you look at it from the bottom, you look at pictures and you have to make landmarks. And I always wonder about that with free skiing. Like how, like, have you got a really good memory? Do you just train yourself to be able to recognize things? Like, I struggle on runs I've been on before sometimes to get into the right line.
I think ski racing was great, but ski racing, you do an on-hill inspection.
Yeah.
So you can literally visualize every roller and everything. Where that was a bit hard transition for me too when I started free skiing, because you're like almost every time you're just looking at it from the bottom.
Yeah.
Take a picture, you memorize your line. Okay, like what are my like key features that I think I'll be able to see from the top? And sometimes you can't see it from the top. That's the worst thing. When it like rolls over, those are the hardest things to ski because they're super blind. But you're like, okay, this tree is pretty, like, I'll be able to see that, so I'll go towards that tree. And then once I'm at the tree, you got to look for features that you think you'll be able to see while you're skiing down. But it's funny because when we're filming, we'll look at something for like 10 minutes, be like, okay, I'm ready to go. Or in this competition venue, I'll be like, I'll look at it for 10 minutes, we'll be ready to go. And I like look for 10 minutes, and then you look at it for, you have 2 days to look at the face. And they let you look at it from the top too. And kind of the sides are like, you're not allowed on the slope, but you can look at it from a few angles.
Right.
And I ended up looking at it for like 3 days, and that almost adds pressure to your run. Yeah.
Or too many options, and you start to second guess things.
Too many options. And then people are like, oh yeah, but if that doesn't work out, like, you know, like if I have too much speed after this landing and I don't get this feature, I'm going to go over here. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like when I'm filming, if I don't hit my feature, it's like, I didn't hit my feature.
Yeah, that's the end.
I know where my safe zone is. I know like if anything slides or anything happens, I'm going to try to get to here or there, but I don't ever look for like another feature to hit. But that's because I haven't done comps.
Speaking of filming, and you know, you mentioned the Whistler Blackcomb thing. So they made that movie Magnetic, and you know, you launched that thing midway down Dave Murray. I don't even know what you call it, but it's like where you stop at the run to wait for your friends, and there's a cliff, and then it lands on like a nice steep pitch. But I don't think anyone's ever even considered launching off that thing.
It's funny because I had that, like, I thought that should have been part of the downhill. When I look at, like, it's so good. It's like, because toilet bowl when you're skiing, it's quite steep.
Yeah, it is.
And I'd never really actually, like, I'm like, it'd be so cool to have the downhill come off here, you know, come and then you land in toilet bowl.
Which is like a 40, 50 footer probably.
Yeah, it's way bigger than I thought. And I went to stand up there. I'm like, wow, this is flat. How is this flat? Because toilet bowl is not flat. And you stand up there and it looks like pancake flat.
Right.
So anyways, I'd wanted to do that for a long time. And I told them I wanted to do that. And they're like, okay, like, cool, we'll shoot it. After hours, so then obviously there won't be people on the slope.
Yeah.
So we show up at like 4 and they hadn't even like groomed toilet bowl or anything. It was a mogul run. I'm like, oh God, okay. And the groomer did come and like just push a little bit of because the cliff does roll off downhill and you wouldn't be able to get out far enough. So they just came and pushed a little bit of snow to make it so it was a bit more flat of a takeoff. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. And I was thinking about it and I'm like, the best case scenario for me on that was backslapping and then skiing out. Right. And that's what I ended up doing. And I ended up spraining both my thumbs because I backslapped so hard on a groomer and then straight line mogul run. I want to say that was the stupidest thing I've done on skis.
Right.
Yeah, because it was quite far out. I want to say it was like, I kind of had to go like close to 100 feet out and then like probably 30 to 40 feet down.
Yeah.
And it
was memorable. The stupidest thing was memorable.
we were setting it up too, and I'd worked with Paul Morrison a bunch, and he's like, to one of the filmers, he's like, I just don't see this backflip going well for Stan. And Graham Micklejohn was the filmer beside him. He's like, Paul, he's just straight in. He's not going to do a backflip. He's like, oh, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about it then. It's like, what? In what world did you think I was going to backflip that? And I started up. If anyone knows, like, there's an Oakley hip there, the Oakley jump in the summer. I started up at the top of that, like where you get speed to go to that. That's where I started, and I tucked straight in.
Crazy.
And in my head, I wanted to do it on downhill skis, but we were doing like a continuous shot top to bottom. So I'm like, I got to do it on 118 POW skis, which is the last thing you want to do. But I mean, it went as good as it could have gone.
A great segment. The movie's called Magnetic. Look it up. It's a great Whistler Blackcomb movie. You talked a little bit about, well, you know, filming with that, and then you were involved with Blank Collectives, like when it kind of, they made a movie and then they made a company and you were part of the company, or?
Yeah, so the very start of it was Casey Dean and Alexi, and they were looking to make a movie with a few athletes that weren't getting opportunities with like MSP and TGR. So they got they got some money together and did the movie called Blank. And then the next year, Casey got an opportunity to shoot with Level 1. And Alexi was like, we should make a ski movie company, call it Blank, and I'd like you to be a partner in that. And
when was that, like 2016 or something?
I want to say it was 2014. I could be wrong. 2014 or 2015. No, we're making our 10th movie this year. It was 2015.
A movie every year then.
Movie every year. So then we started that, and at first we had no clue what we were doing. And then Lexi started, like, we had Jeff Thomas as our main producer and editor. And the first year, actually the first few years, we kind of were bouncing around with editors and stuff. And I think it was in 2017, we hired Jeffy, and Alexi started going to, like, help Jeffy edit and storyboard, and he learned a ton from him over, like, the 4 years that Jeffy worked for us. And now Alexi does it all. He's the producer. He edited the movie last year all by himself, which is super impressive. And I don't do a whole lot. I'm more of just the...
You still put down a segment.
I'm just the guy, and I put down the segment. Yeah.
How important is that, having your own, you know you're going to have a movie out? Does that help prolong the career?
Yeah, I think so for sure. And that's kind of why we started. It was like, it's an asset for us as athletes too. You know, like, we will produce content for our companies that we're sponsored by. And that was a sure thing every year. And instead of them, it's expensive too for a sponsor to pay to get into ski movies. Obviously we do the same thing. But they're able to get a lot more for the price with sponsoring us as athletes and producers.
And then I guess it gives you a chance to showcase younger skiers.
For sure. And I think that's, like, the cool part about it, is that we've been able to showcase some of the Whistler talent. I mean, we're based out of Whistler, which is kind of cool. Like, TGR is out of Jackson, and MSP is out of... Where's MSP out of? I think they're in the States. Anyway, so I think it's cool
Squaw?
that... Squaw Valley. Yeah. It's kind of Palisades area. But I think it's cool to showcase younger talent. We tried to do that more as, like, when we were earlier in the stages, and now we have figured out it is a business, but it is still, I think it's super important to showcase that talent, because the ski industry is a lot harder to break through than it used to be. I think, like, in the heyday, if you're a good skier, you're going to be in the movies pretty much.
Yeah.
Where now, it's pretty much like sponsors will pay for so-and-so to be in a movie. You don't have to be, like, there's a lot of really good skiers that are unknown, or that not many people know of, that don't get that opportunity to showcase their talent.
Do you find yourself slipping into a mentor role to the younger kids in town?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, because, like a guy like Marcus and Wei Chen, they, like, looked up to me growing up. And when I was at the Freeride World Tour, Marcus's mom DM'd me, and she's like, it's so cool these kids looked up to you, and now they're competing in the same event with you. And I'm like, yeah, and they're both quite a bit better than me too. And I don't know why they're looking up to me, because I should be looking up to them. But it is cool. And it's funny, because I've never really felt like I was someone that people would look up to. Like, I never felt like I was Shane McConkey to me.
Right. But you've had a pretty, there wasn't a lot of scandals in your career.
No scandals. But it's...
Like, do you feel like a spokesperson for the sport even?
Not really. It's like, and I don't know if it's because I'm a fairly humble, or I just don't, I don't feel like I had that stardom that those guys did.
Right.
But kids do look up to me. I know that because they tell me that all the time on social, and they always seem like starstruck to see me on the hill. But at the same time, I'm just a person like you, and
no gold medals.
Yeah, no gold medals. Didn't go to the Olympics.
I did read that story where someone ran past Britt and Kelsey to come talk to you.
Yeah, that was in Vancouver.
And
they just won gold and silver medalists. It was amazing. That was pretty funny. That was in Vancouver.
You mentioned Whistler Mountain Ski Club, but you're a Blackcomb guy. Were you always a Blackcomb kid as well, or?
So when I first started ski racing, there was Blackcomb Ski Club and Whistler Ski Club.
Yeah, and it was a rivalry.
And it was a rivalry. And I was, for the first 3 years of my ski racing career, I was on Blackcomb Ski Club.
With the pink jackets?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even had the pink Solomon boots, too.
Sick.
Yeah. Anyways, and then they merged. And I was a bit bummed because I was a Blackcomb kid for sure.
Yeah.
Grew up skiing Blackcomb. Now I ski Whistler quite a bit more because I live in Nordic and I walk to the ski hill. And if I want to go to Blackcomb, I take peak to peak over, or I ski down. But I don't know. I don't know Whistler that well.
Yeah.
It's crazy growing up here. I've almost 30 years now. 28 years I've been in Whistler.
You would think you'd have time to learn it, right?
But I was never on Whistler. I was always on Blackcomb. And I always made fun of people that were on Whistler.
What's your favorite on-mountain meal?
Nowadays?
Well,
sandwich from home?
What about historically?
I was a pretty I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, but I was pretty classic, like cheese bacon burger guy from Glacier Creek.
Yeah.
And then you'd flip over the cheese so they wouldn't see it, and you put the bacon in your pocket so you could get a couple bucks off.
That's, again, that's poaching and ski bummery. They go hand in hand.
And that was when I was like probably 15, 16.
I remember pizza used to be $3.50 at the rendezvous, right? And you would get $5 from your mom, and you could eat a piece of pizza and go play arcade games at the bottom with the change.
There you go.
You talked about, looking at a line. Do you do much, face punching where you'll hike a line and then ski it?
Less so around here because most of them are very accessible from the backside.
Right.
Where we're going to go next week, I'm going up to Alaska. A lot of those are pretty steep on the backside, so you do end up boot packing straight up the face. You do it, but I think like over my career, I've probably done it maybe 20 times.
Yeah.
Do
you like it, having that, firsthand knowledge of what you're going to come down?
It is so scary.
Yeah.
Like, mountaineers they're badasses because I feel so comfortable being on a slope with my skis. If something goes wrong, I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm sure I can get away from it, but I feel confident that I could go to a safe spot.
Yeah.
That being said, I've never really been caught in an avalanche or anything, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But,
definitely.
And also slough like management and stuff. But when you're
Walking
boot packing
in snow,
up with your skis on your backpack, it's so terrifying. If anything goes wrong, it's like
you can't move.
Most times you have crampons on, and like the way I have, you either have verts, which are like kind of snowshoes you put on your skis, or you have billy goat plates, which they're like metal plates that are held on by a crampon, which is kind of like I think they're sweet because if you get into hard snow or anything, your crampon, you can get some good grip. But it's terrifying because if anything goes wrong, you have crampons on, your skis are on your back, your backpack, and it's scary. But it is cool because you can feel what the snow's like. You can literally like punch little holes and see what the snow's like.
Yeah.
So you get that knowledge, which can give you more confidence when you get to the top. But when you're on that face, and especially like, usually takes like 45 minutes to an hour to hike straight up a face.
Yeah, you got to be in good shape.
Terrifying. But it's terrifying because you're in the line of fire for an hour instead of being in the line of fire for 20 seconds that you ski the face.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Were you going into the backcountry as a kid?
Like slack country.
Right.
Not more than backcountry.
Like full gear though, or?
Yeah, like shovel probe, but not really as yeah, a little bit. I did, it was sweet. We had an outdoor ed program when I was in high school, grade 11, 12. And
shout out Mitch Salkers.
Yeah, hell yeah. Mitch Salkers is the man. Yeah. That was kind of like the first, I wouldn't say it was the first time in the backcountry, but that was the first time like actually getting knowledge and experience in the backcountry and with a guide. And Mitch Salkers is unreal.
It's so sick that that's part of going to school. Right, should be.
And Mitch was awesome about it too. Like he spent as much time as he possibly could outdoors.
Yeah.
And then we'd cram like the whole entire curriculum of the English class that he was teaching, because it was a split English outdoor ed class, in like a month. Yeah. So we'd spend like the whole semester outside, and then we just cram English when we could. And yeah, he was awesome.
What's your summer program? I know, are you banging nails in the summer? Are you swinging golf clubs? Mostly biking? Do you guys stick around Whistler for the summer?
Yeah, stick around biking. I used to swing a hammer full time until like 3 years ago, and now I was like kind of like become a little more flexible, and I don't know. I feel like I need to enjoy my life while I'm young.
Yeah.
So I work for myself, and I take like jobs for friends. But if I said yes to every friend that asked me to do a little construction job, I'd be probably busier than if I was working 9 to 5. So I like kind of pick and choose. I usually like work a couple months in the summer banging nails, and then swing golf clubs, go biking. It's funny, I got hooked into golfing, and I think I really enjoy it because I know I'm not going to get hurt, and you can be super competitive against yourself.
Yeah.
And I used to, my grandparents, when I was like 14, were like, oh, come play golf. And I'm like, I didn't have time for golf. I just wanted to mountain bike and ski. That's like all I wanted to do. And then 21 came around, and I would play like 3 or 4 rounds of golf. And then the last like 5 years, I got hooked on it.
It's interesting. A lot of skiers love golf.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's the competitive side of it. And then just also knowing I'm likely not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You might sprain a wrist or something.
You're not going to fall too often on the golf
biking,
course.
I'm at a level where I don't really want to improve, because I'm by no means pro, but like I've gone like 2 summers ago, I biked with Remy and Jesse Melman and Remy Metallier and Remy Gauvin. And I thought I was like pretty good growing up in Whistler, and you go riding with those guys, and it's like, holy smokes, they're not even doing the same sport I'm doing. And I feel like if I try to go any faster, I'm going to blow off my bike.
Yeah, and the ground is not covered in snow.
No, crashes hurt so bad biking, where skiing, it's like you can have a really good crash and then keep skiing for the rest of the day.
Do you have any like weird fears? Are you afraid of snakes or ghosts or the dark or anything like that?
No, but I had like this reoccurring nightmare when I was a kid. It was really weird. There's 2 of them. One, avalanche coming into my room, super bizarre. And then another one was a sniper in my closet. I don't know why a sniper in my closet. He's like 20 feet away from me, but sniper in my closet.
So but snipers, you're afraid of snipers?
Snipers, yeah, I'm afraid of snipers.
Yeah, I think.
And then I had another crazy dream. It was like zombie apocalypse, and I'm running away from zombies, and I don't know why. Again, sniper, but Dave Gariani, he's got a sniper, and he's sniping off these zombies that are running after me. Such weird dreams.
Sick.
Anyways, yeah.
Do you usually remember your dreams, or are those the standouts?
Standouts, yeah. I don't remember dreams that often, but once in a while.
What makes you the most stoked these days in general?
You know what? I think it's just, especially like I've filmed a ton, and I wouldn't say I'm getting jaded, but yeah, no, I'm getting a little jaded. I think it's just getting to ski the resort with buddies, and mainly like high school buddies. It's like last year I got to ski with my buddy Philly, who I grew up. He was like, he still is my best friend, but I grew up with at school. And then Benny Mack, who I grew up ski racing with, and Kels. And that was the best day of my season. The conditions weren't that good, but I hadn't skied with them forever, and we had such a good time. Yeah. And like you said earlier, when I just came in, it's like, if the conditions are good, just hang out with awesome people.
Yeah.
And it's not like the people I ski with every day in the backcountry are awesome people. It's just, there's a bit more pressure and stuff. And it feels a little bit like work. But yeah, just getting to ski with awesome people. The conditions don't even have to be good.
Do you have any, following up on that, is there anything, what frustrates you the most, either inside the industry or just in general?
Well, for most people that don't know, frustration's a lot like masturbation. In the end, you're only fucking yourself.
Good. Kids, take notes.
What frustrates me the most? That's a tough question.
All right, well. Nothing leaps to mind?
Kels picking at my back zits, maybe?
Oh, yeah. That's frustrating. That's probably more than we needed to know. But speaking of having no clothes on, then are you a sauna or hot tub guy?
Oh, sauna guy for sure.
Right.
Yeah. We made a funny video one year. Every year we have like a Solomon meeting called the Mountain Collective, and we had to make one year. They had like groups of threes, and we were making videos. And one of the videos was us in the sauna, and I'm like, oh, I got an idea. And we have our towels, and I like stand up, and I got the mangina going on. And it was pretty funny. And that's how the video ends.
Those are like in company only, not public videos, or?
Yeah, company only, not public videos. It was pretty funny though. That became, someone took a screenshot, and it was on the group chat pretty quick.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Yeah,
For sure. I got a dog.
all right.
Cats are awesome though. I don't want to offend you.
No. I mean, they're.
I did like cats, and then both my sisters got cats, and they're like the best cats ever. And now I really like cats.
I've never experienced it firsthand, but I did read if you, if something happens to you, if you have a heart attack in your apartment and nobody finds you for a few days,
Cat will eat you before your dog.
yeah, the paramedics open the door and the dog's there to like watch over you, and the cat will start eating you right away.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So that's why cats are better.
Anybody out there with actual firsthand knowledge, Feet Banks at mountainlifemedia.ca. I want to know. We're going to get into this again. What's your greatest extravagance or a guilty pleasure?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
I love a good cheesecake.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, I do love pie, obviously, but I think I watch. Like, I don't surf, but I watch a lot of surf.
That's cool.
Media. Like, if I'm hungover or depressed or whatever, or like really tired, I'll just put on Blue Crush.
That's awesome.
I think Blue Crush is my guilty pleasure.
It's funny because I like hate fighting. Everything about fighting, when people try to get in fights.
Nobody wins in a fight, right?
But I love watching UFC. I'm like a huge UFC fan.
Crazy.
And my neighbor made me a UFC fan like way back in the day when it was like Tito Ortiz. I was a huge Tito Ortiz fan.
Right.
Chuck Liddell. And then I don't know why, it's stuck ever since. And I hate fighting. Like,
Yeah.
if like friends try to get in a fight at the bar, I'll be the first guy to try and break it up.
Yeah. Whistler Village, like there's been fighting.
Oh, all the time.
Right?
Or
Go
like
back to where
people
you came from.
And I'm like, hey, whoa, guys. Super friendly. Don't want to fight. I've had too many concussions to get another one.
Are there any movies or books that you know that have stuck with you over your life?
Open. The book Open is Andre Agassi's biography. It's unreal. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And then movies. I mean, Top Gun. It's so good. Even the second one. The second one was so good.
The second one was really good.
It's pretty like rare that the sequel's as good as the first one, and I thought it could compete.
I watched the Roadhouse remake last night.
Oh, nice!
And,
I haven't seen that.
Good fighting for sure.
Yeah,
but not as philosophical.
Yeah,
as the
I'm more of a. I actually usually like funny movies, like Super Troopers.
Yeah,
hard to beat.
There you go.
Dumb and Dumber. Classics. Like I quote funny movies all the time.
What do you value most in your friends?
That's a good question. What do I value most in my friends? I think it's honesty and them being able to like tell me anything. Not afraid to tell me anything. I'm really good at keeping. I'm not that good at keeping secrets, but I feel like, and vice versa. Like when you have a friend that you're not afraid to tell anything to, no matter what it is. I think that's one of the most valuable things. And then they gotta laugh at my shitty jokes I tell, because I tell a lot of shitty jokes.
Yeah, well, that's good. This is the time.
Yeah,
dad jokes are on the rise.
They are, and it was kind of fun actually, because at the Free Ride Wheel Tour, Brett Tippie was there editing it, and he's the king of jokes.
Yeah.
So like, it's great because I get a lot of my material from him.
It's crazy just being able to remember that many jokes. That guy's hit his head a bunch of times, and he still retains more jokes than anyone.
It's unbelievable. Like, for every joke I would tell, he would tell 7, I think, or 8. Yeah. And the guy you could spend a full day with him and not hear the same joke, I think.
No, and not stop hearing jokes.
Where I get a new joke and then I tell it a bunch of times and then I remember and then it falls back.
Totally. I'm the same. What's next? You're on your way to Alaska. Any big plans after that?
On the way to Alaska. That'll probably be the end of the season. Come back like end of April. And then pretty exciting. I'm going to be a daddy in August. Oh. So that's pretty big.
There we go. Congratulations.
Not a ton of people know. Well, no, a lot of people know it.
Okay, good, because you just told it on the podcast.
I just told it on the podcast. Yeah. Not everyone's going to know.
We're an hour in, though, so maybe some people, hopefully they stuck with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. That's end of the summer. Feel bad for Kels because it's going to be a hot summer for her.
Yeah, a lot of swimming.
She's a trooper. A lot of swimming, yeah.
You could put one of those outdoor pools at your place, maybe?
Yeah,
those Canadian Tire pools.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Floating.
At my parents' place, so I don't really have a yard at my place, but
there we go. Well, that's exciting. Okay, well, speaking of kids, man, what's your advice to the kids that are already born out there, but maybe are like, hey, I want to be like Stan Rey when I grow up? What should the kids be doing with their lives?
I think the best thing you could do is be friendly, work hard, and be yourself. I think those are the three most important things. If you're friendly and you're fun to work with, people are going to want to work with you again. And then if you're yourself, no matter who you are, I think that's super important. One, it gives you confidence just to not try and be like someone else. And two, I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't know. A lot of people try to be someone they're not, and then
it's problematic. It makes problems.
It's problematic. Yeah. I just think, and then work hard. Work hard. And I like what Kel said. Hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, which I think is really cool because that's like pretty much what she made her career off of, where some people are super talented. And talent can take you super far. But if you're talented and you work hard, that's when you're like a superstar.
That's when you've got two medals.
That's when
Olympic
you become
medals.
that's when you become like a Tiger Woods or Lindsey Vonn, or that's when you become like a mega superstar, or LeBron James, Kobe Bryant.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Stan Rey, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the biking.
I should have brought my bike today. I don't know why I didn't. But
You're in Squamish with no bike and the sun just popped.
But I did bring my golf gloves.
Oh, there you go. The front nine are open.
Front nine's open.
Awesome, bud.
Thanks, Feet.
Fantastic. Stan came down in person to the studio here in Squamish, which still is and always has been the unceded territory of the Squamish Nation. But to sit there with him, honestly, it felt like we could have talked for another hour. What a guy. I put links to the Whistler Blackcomb Magnetic movie in the description for this pod. That's the full-length movie shot in resort, and where Stan's section, he launches huge into that mogul field. It's the opening section right after the credits. And I also included a link to the Enemy Lines comp in Fernie that we discussed, because that movie rules. And Stan wins it by like 18 inches. So that's about it, mountain lifers. Thanks for your attention and your ear holes over the past 80 minutes or so. I promise we'll stop talking about skiing and snowboarding next month. Maybe. You guys want to hear more about golf and fishing, though, right? While I have you, please put your hands together, unless, of course, you're driving, for Shirai Rules, who provided the intro voiceovers, and Adrian Gendro, who laid down all our guitar licks. I love having talented friends. And I love having kick-ass listeners like y'all. So until we meet again, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be kind to the land, and leave the campsite better than you found it. We'll catch you on the flip side.